According to New York's Governor David Paterson, the state is literally on the brink. It is facing an estimated $10 billion deficit as entitlement spending soars and revenue falls. Joining us now to talk more about the problems of New York, Abraham Lackman. He is the president of Praxis Insights. He's also a former New York State Senate Finance Committee secretary. Abraham, welcome to the program. New York spends nearly double the national average for Medicaid. Spends $5,000 plus more per pupil for its schools than the national average, and test scores are about the same. 1.5 million people have left New York State in the last 8 years. New York's in big trouble.
Yeah.
How do you turn the state around?
Well, first, I think we're starting to get the recognition that we're facing the largest deficits the state has ever faced. You had used the number $10 billion. I think actually within 3 years, that deficit, if we don't take action, is going to be close to $20 billion.
California levels, right, without their population.
No question about it. And in terms of, and we're starting from a base where we're now already the highest tax state in the country. We have a spending structure to close that type of gap means that we would have to reduce the state budget by about 30%. So we're facing extraordinary challenges. You can't do it on the revenue side from my perspective because we're already losing families.
1.5 million people.
1.5 million people, the most in the country.
And the income of the people leaving the state, according to the Census Bureau, is 13% higher than the people moving in. In other words, if you got the money, you're leaving. Right.
The two big areas that we are so much out of balance with the rest of the country are the two that you identified. Education, we spend about 65% more than the national average. Medicaid, the health care program for the poor, we spend about 75% more than the national
average. Does it work? Does it help?
Of course it helps, you know, in terms of education and health care, but the question is it's not sustainable with our tax.
Does it help with schools? The statewide average for New York schools in reading and math is about 2 points more than the national average. That's it. And our spending is dramatically, look at the average there. New York, okay, so 2 points above the national average, but spending is $5 grand more. In other words, money has never been proven to improve test scores, has it?
I think what we've seen in New York State is that we really have some superlative schools, and then we have some schools, particularly in urban areas, that are failing. So I would agree that money by itself does not work.
Then why does everybody just want to throw money? Not enough health care? Throw money. Schools stink and the grades are down? Throw more money at it.
There is a culture in New York where we are a high-cost state. I think when our economy was strong, we were able to sustain that, but we can't sustain that anymore. At the very least, what we have to do on the cost side is to try to bring ourselves from being 60, 70% above the national average to at the very least no more than 20 or 30%.
Is there the political will, Abraham, to cut taxes? Because everyone just thinks that you watch the commercials, make the rich do their fair share. You're paying 50% of your income at the top end.
I think,
is that fair? 50%?
I think when you say is there the political will, at a certain point fairly soon we're just going to run out of cash. So the state is not going to be able to pay its bills, like you saw in California. I think the political process will have to deal with this reality. It's just very tough to make these cuts. But do I think the political will? I don't think people have a choice in New York. Because if we don't have the political will, what we're going to see is the continuing exodus and hemorrhaging of families leaving the state.
Abraham Lackman, president of Praxis Insights. I have a feeling our discussion will continue for another day. Abraham, thank you so much.
Brian, thank you.
All right, appreciate it.